Hi guys, Jake here for more live reactions to Power Rangers Beast Morphers. So, as you may have noticed, MJ is not joining me this evening. Once again, she's feeling a bit sick today. So, and unfortunately it hit late enough that we weren't able to get a replacement. So it's going to be just me today. There is MJ over here off to the side on the other couch. I don't think you can see the hand waving from there, but yes, very not feeling well. So we're tending to that at the moment. So it will be a little bit of a quieter live reaction this time around since it's just me. So how is everybody doing tonight in the chat? Hopefully everybody's doing okay. Yeah, feeling better. Got some medicine. Working on. Hopefully, it'll pass soon enough. It's one of those things where thought we were doing okay, and then as the day wore on, not so much. It's really it's not so much that it happens often. It's just that this happens to have been for two different things, 2 different weeks in a row. We do know why, but it's a private matter, so we're taking care of it. Don't worry, guys. Apparently, Dustin has a story to share from Halloween Day. What story is this? Yes, and I'm sure you guys would love to be able to join us for live reactions. As far as things in news for this week, I did finally get my grades in over at school, so now I don't need to worry quite so much about that being a problem, at least for a little while. So I'm going to try and focus a little bit more on getting 89 out. Hopefully within the next month. I was hoping to get some more work done today, but due to obviously personal stuff, we weren't able to make that happen. So one thing that's fun though in Power Rangers news, in case you haven't checked it out already, the Netflix series The Toys That Made Us has released their Power Rangers episode. I was just watching the first half of that earlier today, and there's a lot of good information on there, in case you haven't checked it out. So I would definitely recommend watching that. The fact there's actually information in there that I was kind of surprised by and wasn't completely aware of should tell you that it is a well-made documentary. At least the first half of it that I've seen so far. They're filling in a lot of trivia stuff that I did not know with regards to the toy lines, because my expertise has always been within the context of the show itself. And so that's been pretty cool. So let's see. Thoughts on future Power Rangers development with Nickelodeon's partnership with Netflix. I didn't actually see the new partnership going on with Netflix. I would have to look into that a little bit more. I've been so out of the loop focusing on grading as of late. So I'm also making sure that everyone knows that we're live in our other forms of social media. I don't have my social media expert helping me out today, so it's a little bit of a one-man show right now. So think back on episode like 53 of Database Rangers Power Reviews. If you want a flashback to me running a show solo, that was a very wacky episode to do. Yeah, we got a good number of people. Okay, Andre just did a video on the Netflix Nickelodeon partnership today, so I'll have to check that out. Alright, and ooh, okay, so Dustin, that was what happened to you on Halloween. You accidentally smashed your toe. Ouch. Gotta be careful with that. Hope you're feeling okay. Hopefully your toe wasn't actually broken. Yeah, I saw it was lagging a little bit, but I don't know why. I've been noticing a little bit of an error there, but it's one of those things where, you know, you ask for more info and it gives you no actual additional info. YouTube is not great at actually explaining what is wrong with a thing, unfortunately. That might do it. MJ is currently on our other couch, which is right off over here. So, yeah, just kind of more or less passed out, unfortunately. But doing okay. Getting through it. So, yeah, not feeling super good today, but working on it. Hopefully, I just worked to try to improve the connection. I'm gonna see if this will work if I just hit that there. There we go. That's delightful. Yep, sorry for the delay on that. Feel free to share the word that we have returned. Sorry for the glitch. Wow, YouTube is no longer tracking the number of viewers very well. Alright, there we go. There we go. I did a thing! It worked! Isn't that delightful? Okay. So I think in that case, we might be in good shape. Oh, do I have a co-host here to join me? Come here. I gotcha. You want to join me? Alright, Ollie. You ready for this? You ready for episode, what is this? 17. Can you believe it's 17? Episode 17 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Ranger Reveal. It's exciting, isn't it, Ollie? Nikki Brett? Oh, this is the same actress from the movie that Zoe and me went to go see. That's exciting.
This is awesome.
Okay.
My mom's really excited to interview Nikki. Go get some shots.
Zoe's mom.
Sure. Zoe, you're here.
That's exciting.
It's your big day. Are you nervous? Yeah, a little.
Oh, this is great. We get to see the mom again.
Take my career to the next level. You'll be great, as always. Thanks, honey.
Whoop, you okay there, Ellie? You good? Ben and Betty are trying to get a good view. What? You got an insane... Why do you have this insane selfie rig? This looks ridiculous. This is very unnecessary. That's the most complicated selfie stick. Why do you have this jumbo selfie stick of doom? What? No. What is happening? What is happening? Why would this be a thing that is happening? What? Yeah, no. Yeah, you just lift it up. What are you doing? I don't know what this was supposed to be. Nothing about this is going well. What? What just happened? How did that just pull up? That's not physics. Yes, I agree. Ben and Betty are the reason that Disney no longer allows selfie sticks.
Hi, Nikki. It's Muriel. Are you close by?
Muriel?
Oh.
Oh, is she canceling?
I see. Okay.
Oh, no.
Sure. I understand. I'm sorry, too. Goodbye.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Being a good co-host, you enjoying
It's bad
the
news.
show?
Excuse me, everyone. I have an announcement.
Oh, no.
I'm afraid Nikki Rev just canceled her interview.
Oh,
She
no
won't be
Nikki
in the
Rev.
studio today. I'm so sorry, but thank you for coming.
Well, that's a shame.
Mom, I'm sorry. I know you were really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, she just, I'm sure she's just rescheduling.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Maybe. Oh no, it's Gargoyle. It's back. Oh, and I'm sure that camera's going to turn into a... Oh wait, no, that camera's not going to be a Metaloid. That's going to be a different kind of threat. Oh no, it's recording the Rangers. Oh, this could make for an interesting thing. Zoe's mom could learn about them being Rangers. And she's going to have to make a choice, her daughter or her school. That's my predictions right now for where we're at. This is probably going to be focused on picking family over career. Whoosh! Nice! He's got Devin's super speed. It's cheetah speed. It's fast. Like a cat. Oh! But he's going to be able to counter Ravi's strength as well. Oof. With her power to jump, which he can do too. I mean, jumping isn't that unusual in this universe. Hey, little buddy. Alright. Ooh. Oh! Just zap the camera. Okay. So that only works for fairly short bursts, it seems. It's effective, but fairly short bursts. You trying to escape? What's up?
How did Bargo get beast powers like ours? It's baffling.
It's baffling.
Must have copied your cheetah, gorilla, and jackrabbit abilities. Let's get to the lab
It doesn't.
and run some tests.
It doesn't seem that baffling if you just figured out what he did. All right, so let's see what the deal is with this camera.
The Rangers must have
Yeah, it's a little quiet tonight, but that's the way that works.
It's all on video. This could be huge.
Morph-X, on par with the batteries that charge Serpentera.
Can you fix it?
Maybe.
No. No, you can't. I don't believe you can fix that.
It's pretty badly corrupted, but I can fix it. By
How?
6 o'clock news, you'll have your Rangers.
You are some sort of technological wizard, sir.
Got it?
Of course. I'll let you know when it's fixed.
Makeup artist?
That is a very technologically handy camera guy.
Hey, Mom. I came as soon as I got your message. What's up? Baby Zoe, I'm so glad you're okay.
Oh,
Hey. Got a
Time
hot
code.
news scoop. Oh, great. What is it?
okay.
My camera
You're
was
gonna
rolling when the Rangers morphed.
you're going to air something without actually even knowing what it is yet. Is that what's going to happen? Okay, I'll leave him gone.
So, you know who the Rangers are?
Not yet.
No, the memory card was damaged, but it'll be fixed for tonight's news show.
Okay.
In the meantime, I gotta write down what I'm gonna say on camera. It's
How-
such a big moment.
How do you write down what you're going to say on camera if you don't know what's going to be on the camera?
I don't think that the Rangers would want anyone to know who they are. Like, maybe they would have already told everyone if they wanted us to know. Right? Come on. The Rangers love being famous.
No.
Hey, who wouldn't?
No.
Besides, everyone's gonna want to see the story.
This
which
is-
means my career
It's
is gonna take off like a rocket.
pretty obvious they don't want to be famous. Actually, Zoe makes a very good point on here.
Speaking of the news, I've got video footage of the Power Rangers morphing. We can be the first to reveal their true identities.
This is bad.
Their identities. Really?
That guy looks familiar.
Good work, Muriel.
Okay, Zoe, we'll talk later. Wait, Mom?
Make this your top priority.
That guy looks familiar.
So once we activate this memory pulsator, you'll be able to access all the Morph-X you need.
Memory
to return
pulsator?
to the real world, destroy Grid Battle Force, and take over the morphing grid.
Don't
Okay.
listen to this fool, Master. He tried to take on the Rangers and had to run away like a scared little mouse.
We have a brilliant new plan. Behold. Memory pulsator.
So you copied Fargoyle.
What?
Check out my masterpiece.
How is it? We came up with that.
Oh boy.
You got
So-
the spy. You told
Yep.
Marvel our idea?
I would never do that.
What is the deal with this memory pulsator?
He built it for me. Enough. If Fargoyle's smart enough to steal your plan, then he's smart enough to carry it out.
Alright.
Couldn't agree more. which is why the Rangers and Great Battle Force are doomed.
Power Rangers, wow, go go Power Rangers, go. It's morphin' time. For justice we fight, with beast morphin' might. Together we rise. Go go Power Rangers, go go Power Rangers, Power Rangers Beast Morphers. And to commercial. So, how are you guys doing down there in the chat? I know it's pretty quiet tonight.
5 more families are gonna leave it all on stage.
Yeah, so far this is a pretty good episode. I'm interested in seeing where they end up going with things. I'm assuming that Zoe's mom will find out that Zoe's a ranger and then choose not to air it. Because she will at least take the time to watch the footage before airing it on live television, I would hope.
Let's play Gator Golf. Use the Gator Golf club to pop the balls and do the Gator
Any quick thoughts on the whole COPPA situation for YouTubers? I don't know what to think of that yet. I got the little notification thing on this one asking if this was if this video was intended for children or not. I'm not quite sure what the implications of all that is going to be moving forward. I haven't been doing enough research on it. I've been out of the loop on so much while just barreling through trying to get grading done. But I'm curious what the implications of this are going to be moving forward for YouTubers who analyze children's properties. Like, I recognize that our channel is obviously intended to be child-friendly, although not necessarily targeted specifically towards children. So I don't know how YouTube may interpret that, and how that might impact our monetization abilities moving forward. Also, there's apparently now a Nerf gun that you load with a toilet paper roll. Okay, it's not an actual Nerf gun, but that's interesting.
With the kind of work I do, I need the utility of an SUV, but I want the beauty of a Jaguar.
Yeah, Betty's selfie stick machine definitely had some crazy hydraulics on there. Not to mention the fact that it somehow caused them to arc. Nothing about that made sense.
From Jurassic World Dino Rivals, new destroying devouring Dominus Rex.
Whoa.
She slashes and grabs with her sharp claws.
That thing's mouth really opens up.
As she swallows, her neck glows red. In Dominus Rex, other dinosaurs and figure each sold separately.
Dominus Rex has some crazy jaws going on there.
Fred, welcome to Peytonville. What's this for? Song inspiration. I started in my garage. But
Why?
Protect
What?
so much, I had to expand.
Why?
Nationwide helps protect everything you see.
Why
every
does
Fred,
Peyton
every
Manning
family, every business,
have a
every
giant
See, Mrs. Hoffman,
miniature
Nationwide protects her
city?
home and car, but also her dream of retiring to become a yoga instructor. Oh,
I
they have
feel
backstories.
like-
Of course they do. Here, I got more to show you.
Wait,
Keep up
what?
now. We'll hustle.
That was a commercial for insurance? What? How do you decide what commercials go on your channel, Nickelodeon? That was a weird. That made no sense.
Take a picture of the Emigram wall.
And heroes. Sweet dreams, Fred.
Um,
Will crumble.
You just blew up the Emigram wall.
So let's see what it is.
Bootstack is the most successful Enneagrammer in the world. Show me the wall.
Show us a brand new Henry
Check and see.
Tonight
Oh,
on
the television's a little quiet? I got it at the same volume as I used. Oh, I do have it down a little bit.
Beast Morphers. Yeah, keep it here.
I just realized the volume was down a little bit. I hadn't noticed.
Worth fixing, Ben.
That's what happens when you're not engaged in a conversation.
Just
What?
about.
Why are you?
Are you sure?
Why are you playing with this thing again? What is the purpose of this
Do we have a
device?
screwdriver?
Absolutely not. I'll go check the car. BRB.
What is going to happen?
I tried to convince my mom not to air the video, but she thinks that the Rangers would like being famous.
That's a huge problem. Well, maybe she's right.
Oh, nice.
A little fame might be fun.
No.
Precisely. I'm
What?
built for fame. You know, I have this great idea for a cooking show. But still, you don't eat. I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Now, Steel, I'm sure the commander wouldn't approve.
That was great.
We need to let her know what happened.
Oh, wait. Let me try to solve this.
No.
Please? I don't want to get my
You
mom
can take another shot at it, but you should really let the commander know so she can do damage control if you
There's
fail.
no need to sound the alarm just yet.
Oh, why? Why does it do? Why do you have this thing? Why? What? Why was that? Is that? That is the actress who was apparently there with a wig.
Oh,
It is Mickey Rev.
That's interesting. So does Nikki Rev have issues with? Yeah, she has issues with crowds.
Guys, we gotta help her.
You're right.
Come on, follow me.
She does not like being famous, apparently.
Sorry, everyone, but Nikki's got a pressing appointment.
This way, Miss Wagner.
Just a bit of space, please.
Nice.
What are we waiting for? Give me the juice.
Whoa.
I'm ready to redirect energy.
Really?
Scruzzle, we're ready for phase 1 of the plan.
Wait, what are they gonna call this one?
Bossy. And you, bait the Rangers into a fight. Guy, Shockatron.
Shockatron. I know what that was in the Sentai. It was not a Shockatron. That's the cotton candy monster. The cotton candy monster has been renamed Shockatron.
Thanks for rescuing me,
That's
Wagner,
great.
guys. Glad we could help. I wish I could return the favor. Bye.
See ya.
You could go do your interview.
Did you see the way those fans hounded her?
Yikes, fame seems tough. I'll think twice about a cooking show now, even if you do give me the ability to eat.
I wasn't going to give you the ability to eat.
We'll talk about that later.
Steel's right.
They're cute.
Think about it. If people figure out that we're Rangers,
You're gonna get mobbed, yeah. Alright, so what are you gonna do now?
A Robotron's been detected in Sector Foxtrot 903, and there's a Gigadrone on the way too.
Roger that.
Okay,
You handle the Gigadrone, we'll take the Robotron.
Nice one.
go for it.
Looks like everybody's out to play today.
I like that we got this monster. He had a fun little fight with his swirly cotton candy stick things.
Who you calling blindfold?
Let's light up this Robotron, Rangers.
And here we are in Sentai footage.
Transport! Beast X Blaster! Transport! Alright. Beast X?
Swirly time.
Watch out, Rangers! Your energy's coming back at ya!
Cotton candy of doom!
Tonight, pigeons will poop. Influencers will
Landscape, please.
influence.
Need 1 million followers. Take a picture of the Enneagram wall.
And heroes
Sweet dreams, friend.
will crumble.
Yeah, I do have to wonder, actually, because you do make a good point down there, Keda, that they could tell the commander and maybe connect to the mayor that the identities are supposed to be a secret, but
At least I got that, bro.
there's the question of, whether the First Amendment applies in this case. If a news outlet does discover the information independently, do they have the right to be able to release that information?
Eat it. Oh, now I have to start all over.
But,
Keep it here.
but there's also the question of what type of organization Grid Battle Force is. Like, is Grid Battle Force,
Each sold separately, hardware not included.
is Grid Battle Force the type of organization that has government backing? Do they have, you know, top secret levels when it comes to information on their employees? Like, obviously there are government contractors there where certain things would be considered top secret, and you would not be permitted to publicize that information. So I'm wondering if Grid Battle Force would fall under those same sort of rules or not, especially if that information was accessed through some other means. So I'm not sure if there's actually a set, like, legal precedent for a news organization not being permitted to reveal a certain identity. Since I would imagine the news organization is not engaged in any sort of, you know, legal agreement with Grid Battle Force, as opposed to their employees, which would be, who could be punished for publicizing things. If the news discovers it on their own, I think it's fair game.
You can be a master of both.
New Lego Star Wars playsets.
Let's see. Grid Battle Force compared to Lightspeed Rescue as far as professionalism. Yeah, I mean, it does seem to be a little bit looser in some regards, especially with Ben and Betty. There's definitely they're on par with the nepotism. Ben and Betty would probably never have been hired by Lightspeed, but then again, Captain Mitchell hired 2 of his children to be Power Rangers as opposed to just 1, so he's got that leg up on Commander Shaw in terms of nepotism.
Free one-day delivery on millions of items. With Prime.
Be an odd idea if a PR equivalent of Mr. Burns ran a Morph-X company. I mean, we have had a billionaire run his own Power Ranger team before, with the aforementioned Overdrive, so there was always that. Yeah, if Ben and Betty were in the Lightspeed Aquabase, that probably wouldn't bode well for everyone not drowning horribly. So that's a good point.
Power Rangers Beast Morphers.
And we are back. Cotton Candy of Doom.
Sabers only, guys. Transport.
This monster is just so randomly divorced from everything that's going on. Hey! Gold and Silver to the rescue.
And ready for takeoff. In position. All right. Record Sword, battle mode.
Yeah, Nickelodeon always has a weird relationship when it comes to advertising Power Rangers. I feel like it's pretty low on their priority list a lot of the time. Primarily because they don't really reap the benefits like they do with their own shows. Oh, hello, Carqua.
Those clueless Rangers are too busy to catch me setting up my devious device.
What does this thing do?
Seems like this Gigadrone can really take a hit.
I'm unclear on what the memory pulsator device does. Whoosh.
Whoa, come in, Devin. This Gigadrone is absorbing our blasts and throwing them back. We could really use a hand here. Go. So I can handle this guy. Right, thanks. Let's do this, Cruz.
Oh, as far as used to advertise each individual episode, I mean, they haven't really done that for years. Yeah, Beast Morphers is running down to the season finale soon. And it does feel like we have been escalating appropriately with the introduction of Gargoyle, which is nice.
That's some
Sweet timing. No doubt. Let's take them on together.
Alright. Side by side. Let's take them down.
Rapid blast.
I always did enjoy that blue and yellow fight against the Cotton Candy Roy.
Nice move.
Now that's called
Lights out.
Oh. They didn't do the... I thought there was a thing where
Oh no, we gotta go.
where they did a
I think we've got this
wraparound combo to counter his. That seemed edited down a little bit from what I recall it being.
We'll be as quick
It's
as
a shame.
Great. Now it's my turn.
I really want to know what Vargoyle is up to right now.
Transport. Cheetah Beast Blaster.
The Shakatron and Shakadrone fights have kind of interrupted the plot for now. And I would like to see what it is that they're interrupting the plot for.
Virus eliminated.
There we go. Alright. Now comes our wrap-up. Let's see what happens.
Are you almost done with the memory card?
Yep. It's just about ready.
Really?
Great.
How did you unmelt it?
Mom,
You somehow managed to unmelt it.
I need to talk to you about something. Can it wait, honey? I'm super busy.
No.
Hey, Nikki Rev just arrived. Oh, looks like we have some fans here, too.
Look, I'd love to interview Nikki right now, but I can't. This Ranger story is too important.
Muriel, it's 3 minutes to air. Who else is going to do it?
Hey, how about me? The audience will get.
What?
They'll love it.
What? What are you... What?
My daughter has been watching me for years. She is pretty good.
What?
So you're Muriel's daughter. And you're a fan.
Okay.
Okay.
What?
Head to set.
Okay.
Thanks.
What are you doing?
I just.
Well, did you stop her?
Not yet, but I have an idea.
Steel is here. And it's just like nobody is
okay. Clear the
reacting to the robot walking around. And it's so weird.
First positions, everybody. I mean, well, I normally work with professionals.
Hey,
But
you got another
I do
co-host
owe
here
you a
for me?
favor, So
Ah.
let's do it.
Hey, man. I'm here with Frankie the Cat.
And
Here
we're
for
live
this
on air.
interesting.
In 3, 2.
Good evening. I'm Zoe Reeves here to talk with film star Nikki Rev.
Great to be here.
This is
The
so
latest film.
odd.
To find out.
So they're going to talk about
We're
fame.
done. The footage is all fixed.
Fantastic.
You go on the minute Nikki Rev is done.
Okay. Wait,
Thanks, Dave.
watch it. Watch the footage
Tell me
before
what
you...
being a big superstar like
before you
Nikki
do
Rev
anything
is
with it.
Actually like.
I'm
Everything here is
yes, but being a celebrity isn't as easy as
not what
everyone
you should
thinks.
be doing.
How so?
Well, everywhere I go, I get recognized. Sometimes that can be amazing,
Yeah.
but other times it can really be a problem. Like
Okay.
earlier today, I was hounded by fans at the airport. That's why I missed my interview this morning. Now, I just want to make movies, but being famous, well, that can really mess things up sometimes.
Yeah.
I guess that's how it is.
Being famous is not always a good thing. And
Thank you for your time,
especially when it comes
Really
to
enjoyed it.
people's mental health. And that was also a very, very short interview.
Big Ranger reveal. Hey, you were great, kid.
Wait,
Okay,
You
so
think it worked?
are you...
no.
So you're gonna
Okay,
just trust your
clear the
mom
set,
to
please.
not reveal the identities
And
of the
we're back.
Rangers now?
In 3, 2.
Hello, Coral Harbor. This is Muriel Reeves.
What is
I
going to
got
happen
something
now?
extraordinary for you today.
What are you going to do?
Exclusive footage of the Power Rangers morphing.
What is going to
Wait,
happen?
The Rangers' civilian identities are right here on this memory card.
Please don't do
This
this.
is so like
But like me,
this is
you probably saw my daughter's interview with Nikki Rev.
oh
Made me
yeah,
realize something.
this is so cheap.
If the Rangers were hounded like celebrities, they wouldn't be able to do their jobs. And that could put us all in danger.
Okay.
Revealing the Rangers'
There you go.
identities might be the biggest story of my career. But it's not the right thing to do.
Okay. There you go. That's correct. But okay.
Their identities must be protected.
And meanwhile, the camera guy is like, "Do you know what dark wizard I had to summon to fix that footage?"
You have to taste to believe.
And we're out.
And we're
People,
and we're out, and nobody is upset about anything right now.
I know why you asked me
This
those
is not
questions.
how
I
news
should have
works.
listened to you earlier, honey. I almost made a huge mistake.
True. But you're the one who made the right decision in the end.
Oh, it's still okay.
Thanks, honey. Hey, how'd you get so smart anyway?
that wasn't exactly the news you promised to deliver.
Yeah, but it was the right thing to do.
It was much better.
What was it?
Excuse me?
The
Was
phones
it-
are ringing off the
was
hook.
it
Everyone
better?
loves you. A reporter with integrity. Good work, Muriel.
Okay.
Thanks.
That actor is so familiar, and I'm trying to place him. I know he's been an extra in the past before.
TV station's transmitter. Have you finished the programming in these?
I'm going as fast as I can.
Tell me the second you're done. The final destruction of Great Battle Force is near.
This is a nice little lead up. We've still got 3 episodes left, so I'm curious what. And we're starting to enter our end game now for the season, and that is great that they're actually like giving us that little bit of extra build up.
That Evox has never seen.
And hopefully soon we'll be seeing the introduction of our Ultrazord for the season. And no, kids, we are not ready. There we go. All right. I'm up for whatever's transpiring right now. As per usual, the whole plot of trying to make sure to be doing the right thing was a bit hokey and not really very realistic, but it worked well enough, at least as far as the emotional beats, I thought. Yeah, Beast Morphers continues to be a solid season. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the plan is on the part of Vargoyle and Evox right now. This memory pulsator, I didn't really gather what it's supposed to do. I'm curious what it's going to do. But yeah, we're definitely building things up big time right now. Vargoyle's got his new powers, although we only got to see a little bit of it, and then that kind of vanished for the rest of it. I felt like overall there were a number of elements that the flow to this episode I think could have been a little bit better. Like we had the whole thing with Vargoyle in the beginning, but then his new powers didn't really play into anything else moving forward, and the Rangers didn't actually make any further references to, hey, we just fought a monster with our powers, after we're going to have to look into this further. Basically, they said, we're going to have to look into this further, and that was as far as they got. So hopefully they'll follow up on that a little bit more. It was just a little bit of an odd thing to lead the episode with and then not follow up on it at all. Along with the fact that just the Robotron and Gigadrone felt largely disconnected in a number of regards. Like, I recognize that they were intended to serve as a distraction while Vargoyle was working on things, but for something that was just intended in-universe as a distraction, it did take up a fair amount of episode time. And yes, Vargoyle was just a monster of the day in Go Busters, and I think it's pretty cool they took a monster of the day and have turned him into a fairly intimidating villain, because a lot of times Power Rangers will actually do just the opposite. Vargoyle was in, I want to say, right around episode 10 of Go Busters. I'm approximating. It was when they were... Vargoyle was based off a Metoroid that was created off of a toy gun, and he had a great fight with Romu, the Red Ranger, and I believe that they ended up getting a whole bunch of Entron, their version of Morph-X, he managed to, like, there was a whole thing with holding a child hostage. It was just a brutal monster who had very good fighting ability and was brutal in terms of their approach, working alongside Enter, the main villain. And they decided that, hey, this was such a brutal monster in the series, in the original footage, let's make him a full villain. And I think that's cool. When I was talking about Dark Wizard, I was saying, like, because there must have been some sorcery in order to fix that memory card which had been melted. That was what I was referring to. But yeah, I find that especially interesting because we've had, over the course of the series, like, you think back on, Lokar was an endgame villain for Zyuranger, and he did show up a couple times in the first season of Mighty Morphin. Then you have the lead villain of Die Ranger, who ended up being Mondo the Magician in Season 2 of Mighty Morphin. Master Vile was only in a handful of episodes of Mighty Morphin Season 3, and then ran away rather than getting a big final showdown. So it is a recurring thing for, like, big villains' roles to be downplayed when they're translated over into Power Rangers. Especially with monsters like Gold Goyle, or Tankenstein was originally the, like, transformed version of the Dark Fortress and Mega Ranger. So a lot of times we'll take villains and downplay their roles in the Power Rangers adaptation. So actually flipping that, turning a monster into a major villain, is really nice and refreshing. Let's see what else we got. I really did enjoy the back and forth with Nate and Steele this episode. It wasn't too much, and it was just a nice, cute little thing. Gluto's another huge example of being the main villain of Time Ranger, who then just becomes a little side goofball in the Power Rangers adaptation. Like, it happens so many times. I think the we'll talk about this later was a good enough running gag for this one episode, but it doesn't need to be super recurring moving forward. They just have good interplay back and forth, and I like that. Ben and Betty's wacky selfie stick rig was just weird. Sorry about that, guys. I realized that the camera... I was in such a rush today, I forgot to actually check the memory card on my camera to make sure that it had enough memory on there, so it just ran out of footage for a moment. But I fixed that. Sorry about that runaway. But yeah, I don't know why anyone would need, like, at that point, just buy a drone. Like, I feel like a drone would have worked better than the selfie stick rig. That made no sense. Also, I don't know why they needed a selfie stick rig to see a celebrity. Wouldn't you want the camera to be pointed away from you to see the celebrity? I don't know. I do really like how we've been integrating the parents in Beast Morphers so far. Like, I had been just saying, I think last week, that it had been so long since we'd seen Zoe's mom, and then we get to see Zoe's mom this week. I actually was quite surprised at what the focus of this episode ended up being, because I was fully expecting, when I saw Ranger Reveal as the episode title, I thought it was going to be Devin's dad finding out. Because that is something that they'd been, you know, harping on a little bit early on in the season, that, you know, Devin couldn't tell his dad, and that was a source of conflict. But I really liked the hint of subverting my expectations, and gave Zoe a focus episode for the first time in a while, and included her mom, who had been not around for even longer. Like, this has been the first, like, fully Zoe-focused episode, really, since the third episode, which was also the last episode that featured her mom. So, I'm feeling good about that. Zoe really needed a little bit of extra development, and I like that we got a little bit more on her relationship with her mom this week. Nothing really super deep. I would have liked a little bit more. I feel like if we had taken a little bit of the focus off Shakatron and put a little bit more focus onto the relationship between Zoe and her mom, and just what their relationship is like, with some sort of conflict there, I think would have been nice to just make it a little bit tighter. Because Zoe's mom is, as far as we've seen, super supportive. We're not really seeing too much conflict between Zoe and her mom. Unlike between Ravi and his mom, and Devin and his dad, where we have clear conflicts going on. But Zoe and her mom seem to have a really healthy relationship, which is great. It's a good thing. But it meant that we didn't really have that much interpersonal conflict going on with this episode. It was more a situational conflict. And I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the interpersonal conflict going on there. Because I was really hoping that Zoe's mom was actually going to find out and then have to choose between her daughter and her career. I felt like that would have been a stronger statement on Zoe's background, and which would better inform her character. And unfortunately, Zoe's mom didn't find out, and ended up just becoming a lesson about fame that wasn't as well rooted in character development as I feel like it could have been. So it's not so much that this episode, I wouldn't call this episode bad or anything. This was a solid episode. It was just an episode that I think had a little bit more potential that it could have better utilized. So, yeah, we've had a lot of focus on Ravi this season, that is true. And, yeah, Ravi's mom hasn't conceded that she's wrong, but I wouldn't say that the conflicts have been about Ravi accepting something that she disagreed with. If anything, actually, Ravi's been having the character arc of learning to accept himself outside of the structure that his mother has laid out for him. When it comes to Ravi, yeah, he's been having his artistic arc, and he is learning to embrace who he is and what he enjoys outside of what his mother is telling him to enjoy. So although Commander Shaw hasn't had any moments where she has acknowledged herself as being wrong, I would say that she is not being framed as being in the right, which is different. So that's what I'm getting from there. Yeah, I can enjoy doing things despite my mom saying no. Yeah, exactly. I do feel like that is leading to some further development with Commander Shaw. That does seem like something they're building to. Oh, my voice is a bit low? I'm sorry. I can probably turn up the mic a little bit. That a little better? I'm probably a little louder now. Yeah, I'm used to having the interplay with somebody over here, and so I'm probably dropping my volume a little bit more than I realize. But yeah, it is odd that we've had so much time without seeing the mayor at this stage, since he was such a prominent presence during those first 5 episodes. He was in 3 of the first 5 episodes. Yeah, that would be funny if the mayor was, if the mayor's just been off bike riding this whole time after approving those Morph-X bikes. He's just like, you know what? I really need to go do some more biking. Which again is something that hasn't popped up the entire season since then. But yeah, I do feel like one thing that's been an issue for Zoe is they established her early on, like first episode, as someone who doesn't run from problems, she solves them. But after her first focus episode, episode 3, she hasn't been really given any new problems to solve, and that seeming catchphrase hasn't come into play for her character in the last, 14 episodes. So that's a little bit unfortunate. It really has been pushing her into the background. Like, she's been a solid presence throughout. She has a nice personality, but they haven't really been doing too much focus on her character and her growth, which is a little bit of a shortcoming. As opposed to Ravi, who's gotten a fair amount of, I'd say Ravi and Nate, in particular, those two have probably gotten the most development so far. Because Ravi had episode 4, digital deception, he had Thrills and Drills, Tuba Triumph, and Grill Art. So he's had a fair bit. Devin's only had a few, and then there's been a few that have been sort of collaborative. And we've gotten some good focus on Nate. Sort of Nate and Steele together with, Cybergate Opens and Silver Survival and, if I'm getting that episode name right, I may be messing it, Real Steel. And then his focus episode with Zoe. So there's been a fair amount of focus for him and Steele, and a lot of focus for Ravi, which is surprising because you don't expect that too much from the Blue Ranger. Yeah, I really hope she gets more in season 2. So let's see. Yeah, Zoe and Devin shared the focus back in episode 11, which was him getting angry at her about about lying about Ben and Betty, which was a weird and a little bit of a confused episode, I think, in certain regards, because it didn't have too tight a focus, and the reasoning for the lie was a little bit weak. I feel like she's been probably the most underdeveloped of the Rangers so far, but still better development than other Rangers we've had in the past. Like, we've had seasons where out of over 30 episodes or 40 episodes, a Ranger may only get 2 episodes. And at this point, Zoe has gotten more focus than Gia. Zoe has gotten more focus in these last 17 episodes than Gia got in 42. So it's not that bad. It's mostly by comparison to the other characters. Yeah, there's still a lot of good character work they can continue doing on these guys. Especially with Nate's backstory and his parents. There's definitely plenty of stuff to build off of there. If they bring in his parents as far as being a more prominent role in the season. And I would like to see a little bit more from the Beast Bots. Like Smash got a nice bit of focus last week. We've seen a little bit from Cruz. Has probably been the most recurring of the Beast Bots, and Jax has probably gotten some of the best character work in that A Friend Indeed episode, which is probably, that episode was probably the weakest episode of the season just because of how the Rangers' behavior against the Beast Bots, but everything else. And I think the point of when they were saying Jax didn't get a focus episode was more so that episode was technically regarding all the Beast Bots, with Jax just being a little bit more prominent than the others, as opposed to last week where Smash was the only Beast Bot getting getting focus, and that would be nice to see for Cruz and Jax as well. So I think that we are... Okay. I think that we are kind of winding down. It's been a good hour with you guys. I hope that this episode hasn't been too dry with just me. I hope that that you guys have enjoyed having a little bit more direct one-on-one with me this time. So, any last questions from the chat today? Yeah, and I will admit, in Power Rangers Comic Relief, almost never get a focus episode, so it's unlikely that Ben and Betty will get their own focus episode, but, that being said, Bulk and Skull have gotten focus before, as have, and Boom got his own focus episode, so it's not outside the realm of possibilities. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if Ben and Betty got their own focus, and it could be, an interesting way to play things. So, yeah, I think it's time to call it a night. No, the Disney era PR is not going to go on Disney Plus. They don't own the rights to it anymore. As funny as that would be, they just don't have the rights anymore. So they wouldn't be airing it. And, I mean, they barely aired it when they had it. So, all that said, yes, hopefully MJ will be feeling better tomorrow. Because he's got work in the morning. So, hopefully getting good rest tonight. And I hope that everybody else has good rest tonight. And I will keep you guys in the loop as progress hopefully takes place regarding DRPR episode 89. And no, we did not get Disney Plus. I know a lot of people have. We just haven't jumped on that service yet. Honestly, we need to get around to replacing our cable first. That's the bigger priority. But, all that said, once again, great time chatting with you guys tonight. It was another solid episode of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. It's a sign of the show taking steps in the right direction overall. Even if this episode wasn't as standout as maybe some others may have been, it does seem to be pushing the story forward, and I really look forward to seeing what happens next week. So you guys all have a great night. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to see us again next week, as well as for our recording of the next live reaction for Rio Soldier. And until next time, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you. Good for you guys? Are you back? We're back? Maybe we're back? Perhaps we're back?